So welcome everyone. First class of the fall, and we're working with legs and feet and grounding. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhale, drawing the belly in and making a ha sound. Now, if lying on the floor doesn't work for you, you're welcome to lie in your bed or on a soft surface. Inhale. This whole class will work quite well on a bed. Exhale. Just keep this going. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in. And doing this in your own time, it might be different than my breath pattern. Just keep that going. Look. All set up, okay. Now, when you feel ready, you're going to inhale, bring your arms up or to the sides, your choice. So your arms can go overhead. They can go all the way to the floor behind you. If this is too much for your shoulders, you can put a pillow or a bolster here and bring your hands to that, or just bring your arms to the sides. Just make sure your head's on the ground. You might have a blanket under your head. Just a reminder to keep your chin slightly in line with your heart, not sticking up, so slightly down. Inhale, arms coming up to your place, and exhale, coming down. If you notice one arm comes down before the other, don't be alarmed. That's just, we have these misalignments in our shoulders, in our necks. Sometimes one shoulder is higher than the other, so that can happen, and it might change throughout your practice. Now the breath, if you can start doing it just through your nose, you can try doing that. If it's comfortable, can you straighten one leg or both legs? Just see how that feels. It might be too much. Just see how that feels. And maybe pointing both toes as you inhale and exhale, flexing. If you want to make it a bit harder, you can even lift your heels off the ground. If this is too much for you because of an injury in your knee, you might try one leg and one arm at a time. So after doing one side 3 to 4 times, switch sides if you are doing one side at a time. So switching if you're doing just one leg. It is sometimes actually, even if you can do both sides, sometimes it's nice to do one side at a time. Because it will feel a little bit different each side. All right, just take a rest for a moment. Your legs straight or bent. Just notice how you're feeling in your body and your mind tonight. If you've had a busy day, you might be feeling a little bit more of your breath in your chest. That's really normal. Don't worry, it will change throughout the practice and come more to the belly. When you're ready, bending those knees again. And this time we're going to, again, straighten one leg. And you're going to inhale, you're going to point and bring the arm overhead, or you could just bring it up to the sky if this is too much on your shoulder, or again, you can have that bolster or pillow behind you. As you exhale, I want you to draw your leg in to your chest and maybe hug the knee. This is also great for the back. You're going to inhale, you're going to bring your leg up to the sky. And you could be flexing your toes here or pointing. Exhale, drawing your leg in. And inhale, extending out. So I'm actually going to flex the foot on the inhale for this round. Again, this might be too much for your shoulders, so be careful. Exhale, draw the leg in. Now try to use the core strength to draw that leg in. Inhale, extend up. So we're working with the legs and feet, and also this is very good for the lower back. Exhale, drawing in. I'm pointing the toes as I do that. Inhale, extending out through the heel. You can do this in your own time, not necessarily with me, because my breath might be a little long for your capacity at this point. So do it in your own timing. Do one or two more rounds according to the timing of your breath. And exhale, release and switch legs. Traditionally, we start with the left leg first. If you want to do that, I'm just demoing the way I'm demoing so you can see me best. Inhale, extend your arm up and flex through the same leg as your arm. So that's your inhale. Exhale, draw the leg in using the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, hug that knee. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, extend out. And keep that going your own timing. Exhale in. Inhale, expand the belly and bring the leg up, the arm up. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, lengthening out. Doing two more times, or it might be a few more times if your breath is a little faster than mine, and that's fine. You could do this up to 6 times. I'm going to stop cueing now so you can just go into your own practice. If you wanted to make this a little bit harder, you could have both legs straight as you do this. That's a lot harder, so be careful. All right, and take a break. So your legs can be straight or they can be bent. And just rest. So when your legs are straight, if your lower back is hurting, do bend your legs. Okay, so make sure you're comfortable. All right, so we're going to stretch those legs with our belt now, having warmed them up with the previous dynamic move. And your belt, you might want to loop it up. If you've got a yoga belt, it's nice sometimes to have it already looped, or if you've got a TerraBand, just tie a knot and create a loop. The reason I like to do this is you're not gripping as much through the hands, which I always think is a good idea. You could also use a scarf, of course. In India, my teachers just use what we call a dupatta. It's a scarf that the women wear, and they use that for a belt. So you do not need these fancy props, but they're nice to have. Okay, when you're ready, so putting your belt or your scarf, whatever you have, on your foot. And this is one of my favorite props. It's a very inexpensive prop. And when I travel anywhere, I always at least have a belt, because I always figure you can find pillows and various things at hotel rooms, but belts are sometimes a little harder to find. So just stretching that leg, you can start with the left leg, or you can start with your easy side. If you've got an injury on one side, start with your easy side. And just see how that feels. If it feels really easy for you, you might be able to extend the other foot, the other leg that is, and you could put that foot at the wall if you've got a wall nearby, which you won't necessarily, but if you do, that can be a nice add-on. So for most of you, you probably want to bend that supporting leg, because it will take a lot of pressure off the hamstrings. And then when you're ready, exhale, bend the knee, and inhale, straighten. So if you've got an injury in this knee, just be really careful not to put too much pressure with the belt. You might even want to forget about the belt and just use your hands underneath the leg, because it might feel like too much stress on the joints. So just be careful, those of you who have knee replacements and arthritis in the knees. Inhale, extend. Now perhaps you can point the toes as you inhale, and exhale, flex the toes towards the nose, bend the knee into the chest. This is also a nice hip stretch. You can do this around 6 times. In your own timing, inhale, extending, exhale, bending. When you're ready, perhaps if it's comfortable, just staying in the position and stretching here. If this is too much, keep it moving instead if it's too much. It's comfortable and your belt is looped. It's got a buckle on it. You might be able to do a namaste position with the palms together and bring the hands to the heart and just rest here and drop that hip down. So I've got my right leg up, so I'm dropping my right hip down. This can be very helpful for the lower back and for balancing the pelvis. It also helps you feel those 3 hamstrings a little bit differently. So it's weird to think that there's 3 parts behind your thigh there. Very important for your lower back and your knees, those hamstrings. So again, keeping that knee soft if there's any injury, or even better, just keep it moving. Exhale, bend, inhale, straighten, or just stay here. We're going to switch sides. So this might be your harder side now, so be careful holding on to that belt. So again, I like to put the hands through the belt so that they're at the sky and then holding on to the belt. And exhale, bend the knee into the chest. This is working with the knee, the tracking of the knee. So for arthritis, this can be helpful. For other knee problems, this can just help align the knee. Exhale, bend the knee. We're also dynamically warming up the legs. Now you've been on your legs all day, so you have that advantage at the end of the day. You can usually stretch a bit more. Inhale, extend, exhale, bend. So lubricating the joint, it's helping with synovial fluid reuptake in the knee joint, this movement. Yoga, we call this Vyana Vayu, it means circulation. So the yogis said that this kind of movement would help with circulation of the energy, as they called it, prana. So yogis understood things as energy and rather than getting into blood flow and oxygen flow through the bloodstream and lymphatic system and all those things. They didn't get into that. They just talked about prana. Circulation of energy. Now you can be pointing and flexing your toes as you do this. And you might want to keep that going, or you can stay in the position now. You might make that namaste position with your hands at the heart, dropping your hip of that upper leg. I've got my left leg up, so I'm dropping that hip. And for those of you who have been in my in-person classes, most of you have at some point, you'll know I come around at this point and kind of tap your knee and try to get it straight so that you're actually able to go through the calf all the way to the hamstrings and to the lower back through the stretch. So keep dropping that hip as you exhale, and you'll probably feel those 3 hamstrings a bit more as you do that. If it feels like pain, that's uncomfortable, then exhale, bend, and inhale, straighten instead of staying. All right. So we're going to take both legs up for a minute as a rest. I hope you find this to be a rest. I'm going to hold the belt like this. You could just put your legs up a wall if this is not comfortable. Or again, if you can make that namaste position and hang out here. Your legs could be on a chair, they could be on a wall. Keep your buttocks down on the ground, so you don't want your buttocks off the ground as you do this. And alternatively, you could just hold your legs with your hands, and you could even exhale, bend, inhale, straighten. If staying in the position is not comfortable for your knees right now. Otherwise, if it's comfortable, just staying there, stretching your legs and your lower back and your feet. Just resting here. Inhale, let Exhale, go. Very simple meditation to help you just steady the mind. When you're ready, release and take a rest and notice how you feel. Just put your belt aside. You might feel quite a sensation of circulation into the legs and feet having done that. So when you've been standing all day, it's really wonderful at the end of the day to invert by bringing your legs up. Okay, up a wall, on a chair, using the belt. Again, you can bend the legs if you prefer. And I like to put my feet at the wall just to align my back. Okay, we're going to work with the inner thighs a little bit. This also can be very helpful for the knees. It can also be helpful for grounding the mind. So if you tend towards anxiety or stress, this can also help just very much settle the nervous system. But it's in terms of musculoskeletal, it's just very strengthening for the inner thighs. So putting a block or a pillow between your legs. As you exhale, you're going to squeeze that block or pillow and inhale, release. Now you can do this with a bolster. It's more intense if you have one, or a pillow. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. This is also very helpful for incontinence. If you're dealing with that as we age, that's a very common problem that no one wants to talk about. But this can, in a secondary way, affect the pelvic floor and the ability to control the pelvic floor. So exhale, squeezing that bolster, and perhaps adding a hold after exhale of a couple of seconds, and inhale, release. So that hold after exhale can actually increase carbon dioxide levels, which helps us actually get more oxygen the next time we inhale. So it's a very interesting effect. Exhale, hold after exhale. And inhale. If that's not comfortable due to heart disease or anything like that, don't do that. Inhale, you're releasing. Exhale, squeezing. Last time. And if it's comfortable, you're going to keep that block between the legs. If it's not comfortable, you can get rid of it, of course. We're going to do a bridge pose. So you're going to inhale, you're going to lift the hips up. Well, you might have some cramping in the legs as you do this. You do just take a rest and give it a shake, because we've just really engaged those muscles. So if you get a cramp, don't worry. It's just, we've been using those muscles quite a bit. So inhale, lifting up. Now, if you can, exhale, stay here and squeeze that block or bolster. Inhale, lift a little higher. You can use your arms to help. And exhale, come down. Now this is one doing on a bed would be a little bit difficult. You probably want to go on the floor if you are on a bed, unless it's a very hard bed. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze that block. Inhale, lift a little higher. You can use your arms to help you lift higher. And exhale, squeezing the block, come down. So we're strengthening the muscles around the knees. We're strengthening the inner thighs, which is going to help with the hips. And it's also going to help with the core and the pelvic floor. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, squeeze that block. Inhale, lift a little higher. Use your arms to help you. Pressing the hands down. And exhale, coming down. This is all helping your lower back as well. We're going to do one more time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, coming down. So you're probably feeling your hips having worked as well. Lots of muscles firing. It's a very simple pose that I do during almost every class, Vipapitam. Very effective. Exhale, bringing the knees into the chest. Now, in this pose, you can do it like this. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, knees towards you. Or if you have a bit of sway back, your lower back, or you have some incontinence, some looseness in the pelvic floor, it can be very helpful to add a block underneath the lower back, no higher than the waist, the top edge of the block or pillow, and bring the knees into the chest. You can use your hands, and that will give you a slight inversion. Now, if you just ate a big dinner, that inversion might not be comfortable, so get rid of the block. Hopefully you didn't eat too much for dinner. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Now, I like to do this often without the hands to make sure I'm using my pelvic floor more. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. And this pose is called Apanasana. Apana, Vayu, is the energy, the downward flow of energy. It's about grounding. It's about letting go. And if you want to take it up a notch, add a hold after exhale, and that will increase the exhale effect. It will make you more relaxed. And it will actually help with you getting more oxygen the next time you inhale, which is a surprising side effect. Now, if you know how the breath works, you might be able to start adding those pauses between inhale and exhale. And starting to exhale before you start to move. So this is for grounding, which in yoga is relate it to this whole pelvic floor area, down the legs and into the feet. So this is your root. So if you imagine that that whole area from the pelvic floor down the legs into the feet is like a carrot growing into the ground, that is your root. What we call in Sanskrit your mula, your root. So you can hug your knees. If you have knee issues, you might want to hold under the knees. And you might want to make your knees wider to make space for your belly as well. And when you're ready, release that. Release the block. And take a break. Your legs straight or bent. Just rest. Notice how you feel in your body. From your feet, through your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hamstrings, your buttocks, your hips, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your arms, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, the back of your head, top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, your ears, your mouth, your chin, your throat, your heart center, your chest, your stomach, your pelvic bowl, pelvic floor, thighs, knees, shins, ankles, arches of the feet, toes, bottoms of your feet. Rest. Sometimes when one part of the body is feeling really uncomfortable, we tend to put all our attention on it. It would be very helpful to do a body scan like this and actually bring your attention to other parts of the body that are feeling a bit better today. And you might find by doing that, it will gradually lessen your pain level. All right, so going back into those legs and feet, we're going to move up the legs a bit more towards the thighs. So you're going to bend your knees, and this is also getting into the hips. So our second focus in 2 weeks will be the hips, but when we work on the legs, we do work on the hips a little bit. Each part of the body is kind of warming up the next part. So inhale, center. You're going to exhale. You're going to bring one knee down towards the opposite big toe and try to keep the other leg up to the sky. Inhale, center, and exhale, other side. So one knee goes down and the other one stays up. And if you can, try to extend that knee down towards the big toe of the standing foot. And hopefully you'll feel a nice stretch into the thigh and maybe into the psoas, the hip flexor. And you might feel something in your knee as well. Be careful, don't overdo anything. So you are controlling how far you're going in your range of motion. So work to about 70% of your capacity, especially if you have an injury. Just side to side. Now, if you have bunions, this might be really uncomfortable. So you might want to put a blanket or something under your feet so it's not so uncomfortable. It'd be really nice to do this class actually on a carpet, yoga mat on a carpet, just so you have lots of padding for these kinds of poses. Just one more round, whatever your breath pattern is. Exhale, going into that twist, and inhale, releasing. We always exhale as we twist in yoga. Because the twist, like wringing out a dishcloth, is considered a cleansing movement for the whole GI area. When you're ready, you're going to add both knees if that's comfortable. So inhale, center, exhale, bringing both knees down. And just notice again, if you tend to be tight in your thighs, you might be feeling this quite a bit in the inner thigh and maybe into the knee. Inhale, center, exhale, other side. This is too intense, just go to one leg at a time. Notice if one side is easier than the other. So your arms, they can be lower down. Just depends on your neck and shoulders, what you feel comfortable with. They could be bent slightly. It could be just at the side. Japra Parvriti means to twist the fire at the belly, the Japra Agni. It's ancient Vedas, they talk about Agni. It's one of the very early Vedic gods, as in most indigenous cultures. They worshipped elements of nature. The fire was considered a mediation between this world and the next via the smoke. It would carry off into the heavens. So there's this idea that this fire within you, within your gut, and we would just call these digestive enzymes or your just the health of your gut. And you want to keep that in balance. And we now know that the health of your gut very much affects your emotions. And just finishing up when you're ready. I'm just going to do a counter pose. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, legs to the sky. Arms can go overhead if that's comfortable. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, legs to the sky, arms overhead, or you can just hold the backs of the knees. Inhale, extend, holding the backs of the legs. Exhale, bend. So this is much easier to do this version. Urdhva Prasrita Padasana. Or if it's comfortable, adding the arms to get into the neck and shoulders as well. And again, if you ate a big dinner, probably skip the squishing the knees into the chest because that will compress your belly a lot. You could keep your legs wider to avoid that. All right, when you're ready, just taking a rest and notice how you feel. Notice how the breath feels. Is it long and smooth, or is it rough and short? Just notice the mind, the thoughts. Are they fast and continuous, or are they slow and sparse? Not too many thoughts. Just notice. Try not to judge, just notice the state of affairs with a neutral attitude. So yoga, we want to cultivate this unbiased, neutral attitude towards things so that we can respond wisely to what happens in our lives. All right. Okay, so we're almost at relaxation time, but I want to do one more exercise for the legs and feet. It'll just be a little bit more intense, perhaps. So I want to start with the legs up here, so to the sky. And if you can, as you inhale, you're going to bring one leg down a little bit or a lot as you point the toe, and you might bring the opposite or the same arm up and exhale, coming back. Now you can move it just a little bit. So it could be just like that. Or you can bring it down a lot. And exhale. So this is working your core strength. Because again, the core, the pelvic floor in yoga is part of our mula, It's called the Muladhara in the chakra system. So it's Mula means root. So this is the foundation. And then exhale up. And inhale down. Now, as you exhale, coming up, you might be feeling a little bit of shaking into your core. That's good. So if this is too intense, you can just move the leg a little bit. Don't move it as much, and don't add the arms. Or you can just touch the toes down as you exhale, and then inhale, try to bring them up. So that's another alternative, and you could do that one leg at a time. So if you find what I was doing previously too hard, you could try this as a modification, one leg at a time, or both. So I'm going to go back to the first exercise. Inhale, extending. This is the most tense thing we're doing tonight. And exhale, using your core strength. Hopefully you're shaking a little bit as you do that. And you could be doing this with both legs if you're very strong. Be careful. And just finishing up, resting your legs on the ground, your feet, knees towards each other, or your legs can be straight, and just rest. We're going to move into Shavasana, relaxation. And again, I like to put my feet at the wall, but classically, just let your feet fall out. If your lower back hurts in this position, I really encourage you to take a bolster or a pillow and put it underneath your legs until you feel comfortable. You could put your legs up on a chair or on a couch, and that can take pressure off the lower back. So you can also do that. You can even, if you've got a yoga bolster, you can even put it up like that. And it's a little bit more of a support. So as you lie here, can you notice the belly breath? As the diaphragm contracts, the belly goes out. As the diaphragm relaxes, the belly goes in. Can you feel the breath move from the nostrils, down the upper chest, middle chest, lower chest, full belly expanding? And as you exhale, can you feel the breath move from the belly, up through the lungs, up the throat, and out the nostrils? And moving into a meditation, if you like, inhale, let. Exhale, go. If you want to use Sanskrit, inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. I let go, I surrender. You might have some sensation of energy moving down your tailbone, your pelvic floor, down the backs of your legs into your feet. This would be the Apanavayu, downward flow of energy. You might feel that as your body relaxes. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Can you move into the breath is breathing you. Not controlling the breath anymore, but letting it just breathe you naturally as you observe it and watch it with your consciousness. When you're ready, starting to increase the length of your breath, expanding the belly as you inhale, as you exhale, drawing the belly in, perhaps adding the chest, inhale into the chest, then into the belly, and exhale, drawing the pelvic floor in, the belly in, the chest falls. Inhaling from the top to the bottom. Exhale from the bottom to the top. Can you feel the back body as you do this? Last time. Hands at the heart. So you can just rest on the heart. You can also put them on the belly. Or hands in namaste. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste, Namaskaram. Thank you very much.